everyone, welcome to In the Company of Leaders. I'm Frances Day, Chief Bird of Bird Board, and every week we'll be bringing a business programme to you and inviting business women in from the local Yorkshire community to pick their brains, really, ask them questions. We'll be doing business topics around their specific business area and sharing their expertise and some motivational tips with you, our audience from in and around Yorkshire. So this week we have the lovely Ali Carruthers-Illingworth from Pebble People. Welcome, Ali.
Thank you, Frances.
And we're going to ask you some questions about your business. But firstly, I just wanted to talk to you about how we met, and which will really nicely just lead into networking, which is going to be the subject that we're talking about. So we actually met at a networking event, didn't we?
We did indeed. Yes. Two lonely souls hoping to make friends with somebody in the room.
Yeah, in the middle of Leeds. And I was trying to remember exactly how long ago it was. How long do you think ago it was?
I think it was about 7 years ago.
Oh my goodness,
I
time
know,
flies.
it really does.
And both our businesses have transformed as well, haven't they, within that period?
And has it been fun watching that grow?
Yeah.
Since we first met?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So at the time I was running a marketing company, and you've always run the fabulous Pebble People.
Yeah. We'd been going for about 6 months, I think, at the time when we first met. Maybe a year when we first met. Yeah. Still in that lovely early stages of wondering, is this ever going to work?
Complete naivety as well, I think.
Yeah, don't we bring that?
Yeah. And sometimes that naivety is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Because if we knew then what we know now, we probably would never have done half the things that we do.
No, that's very true. And in that time, you know, and you've tried to help new startups yourself by giving them the benefit of your experience, there's something that is they still have to go through that pain point, just like you did and just like I did.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah.
So our hindsight doesn't necessarily help them, does it?
No, because it's always about the person, who they're interacting with, the type of business that they do. And all that formula works its magical way, doesn't it, to create the outcome. Yeah.
I'm just remembering we were in the Leeds Club. Do you remember?
In that beautiful old building.
That really lovely old building that was just that energy of so many different decisions have been made in that building that poetically we met at the bar. Admittedly, it was 9 o'clock in the morning. There was no alcohol on sale. Just a lemonade or something like that. But all that energy from that really old building, and there we were, we just got pulled towards each other. Yeah. Didn't we?
So it brings us nicely onto the networking there, doesn't it? So let's talk about that a little bit. What's your what have you found works for you when you're out networking?
One of the bits of advice actually thinking about new startups is get networking as quickly and as soon as you can. And some of that is test what works well for you. So some of those are, we'll go to regular networking events where we will meet the same people, same faces. And some of it is go and try new ones that are maybe one-off ones, or maybe they don't happen as frequently. But whatever it is when you're going networking, you have to know yourself. Because you walk into those networking events, there'll be people that you perceive are very powerful and you'll judge them in that way. There'll be people that you perceive you don't want to talk to because of the way that they look. But you have to know yourself. What am I going in there? What's the message I'm going in there with? And what am I prepared to listen to? And I'm fascinated by networking because you have all these different people who are there to sell you something. They're going to try and save your business by coming and rescuing you. You've got the people who are there who timidly don't even know really how to talk about their business.
It can be scary, can't it? Walking, when as a startup, walking into a room full of, a mixture of men and women, all different ages, all different backgrounds. Where do you start?
Yeah.
A friendly face or someone on their own, perhaps.
I often with these networking events, you can get online and see who is attending. If you can't do that, you can somehow find who's attending. And, we all use these ways of socialising. LinkedIn is really popular for understanding who's in your network. And I think some of the networking events you and I go to, you can see the delegate list. Have a look down it. Who are you looking to meet up with? Who do you already know? And drop them an email before you go to say, would it be all right if we arranged to meet? And get in there and meet them. If you go in there with a friend, you're halfway through the door, aren't you? They're going to start introducing you around the room. You're going to start introducing them. And it's almost like you're not facing it on your own.
It's like the Olympic circles, isn't it? So there'll be a commonality in the middle, won't you, where you both know a particular, section of people.
Yeah.
But they'll know one circle, you'll know another circle. So it's about flowing through those networks, isn't it? And about opening up the contacts of people that you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't put any importance on networking, you're missing out. Because you and I both know people buy from people.
That's right.
And building that relationship starts at a networking event often. It's just, oh yeah, I met that person. And then your name gets mentioned on and other people start going, oh, so-and-so mentioned you to me. And eventually this network, you start to meet the people who you're going to connect with.
So would you say that it's best to perhaps have, if you know that there's a certain profession that will easily be able to refer you work, would you look for that type of profession in a room?
I think if you have got a strategy for who you're hoping to start working with, absolutely. One of the things that got our business off the ground when we first set up, and in fact you helped us with this, was what's your vision? So what's the vision? Who are those people that you're going to work with? You asked us, what were those marketing tips you gave us about the 5 Ps, was it?
7.
7 Ps, thank you. And one of those was, who are these people that you want to talk to? And with a vision, and you know that in our business, and I know that this is something that you personally believe in, is around we manifest. We can't manifest where we're going without visioning, without dreaming it. So getting that vision right, who are the people that I want to be in front of? And imagining that happening. So if you know the types of people you want to talk to, why not go and seek them out? Yeah, look for who's on that list.
Yeah.
And of course, there's all those lovely serendipitous meetups like we had. Where was I looking to speak to you? Probably not. But there was something about energy that drew us together. And again, I'm a big believer in that. Get drawn towards where it feels right.
Yeah.
If you're having a conversation with somebody and you don't feel comfortable, then there's something there in the energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big believer in that. Like attracts like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So like-minded souls connect to one another.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the other key thing to share, which for me is really important, is we've all been in a room, haven't we, where we're networking, and you might meet someone who's not necessarily experienced at networking. It's like in B&I they call them hunters and farmers.
Right.
So, here's my business card, and they're shoving it under your nose and they're going, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And straight away you go, ooh. So it's like what not to do when you're networking, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So I think the objective should be from a networking point of view is, who can I meet in this room who I'm happy to connect with, who lights my fire, who I'd like to have a coffee with afterwards and get to know better.
Yeah, can't agree more.
Yeah. So the objective is not to sell them your stuff there and then, is it? It's about developing a much deeper relationship with that person that you meet for the first time on that day.
Let me tell you a story about one piece of networking I thought was going to be just beautiful. Friday lunchtime, an hour. It was a lunchtime intentionally every Friday. Just come along, we'll buy you a drink. Whoever's there, network with them. It's only networking people. So you've got an hour. And I'm thinking, this is great. Walked into this bar, lovely, felt very comfortable. And I had an hour. But it was a room full of men, that's no problem. But then you're kind of thinking, okay, who's in here, who is going to light my fire and who I'm going to really connect with? And I saw a face that I recognised and, I was happy to go and say hello. A guy who had been, as you've mentioned, slightly insecure in networking when I did first meet him. Mm-hmm. And his eyes just went, somebody I know. And I was happy to talk to him. And I said, come on, let's do this together. And we had just that happen. And the guy started with the sentence, I'm not going to give you my pitch because we've just got an hour. So we want to get around as many people as we like. I said, well, that's very good, yeah. Guess what? 50 minutes later, me and the new networking guy were still talking to that guy about his business. When I say talking to him, we weren't. He was talking to us. And he gave me his card and I took it off this other guy and we put them straight in the bin because I thought, no.
How not to network.
It's the art of conversation, Francis. We're there to have a conversation. I'm not there to be spoken to and nor am I there to speak at you. Yeah.
So there are lots of different types of networking organisation,
there are, aren't
there?
They? Yeah.
And I think from my point of view, I think they all have a place. I don't think any one is better than another.
Can't agree more.
I think it depends, as we were saying right at the beginning of the conversation, it depends who you are, it depends what you do, it depends who your target market is. And all that comes into the mix. There are some that are for different levels of business too. Some that suit more a business startup, some that are for more established businesses.
Yeah.
And of course, it's that whole like attracts like thing where you feel comfortable. Because if you're committing to networking, then you need to make sure that you feel comfortable in that group and culture of organisation too, don't you?
How amazing is it that when you have an idea that you want to take out to the market, you've probably had to put your brave pants on because you've got to maybe leave behind a permanently paid job.
Yeah.
But you think, no, I can do this. And then you decide, okay, I've got to start getting my message out there. Some of these are just ideal. You dedicate some of your budget to paying that fee. You get a chance to practice your pitch, try out what works well, hear from others who've also been practicing. Some of them offer guest speakers who are going to give you some insight into running a business. You couldn't kind of agree more with it, could you?
No.
Commit. Some of these are only a few £100 a year to commit to. What? £300 to £500 a year. Actually, if at the start and you've got a chunk of money, commit. One of the first things you should do is go find one of these networking groups and commit to it.
Yeah. I call it leaning in.
Lean in.
So rather than doing the scattergun approach where you're trying lots of different networking and all you're doing is handing out, your well invested £100 on your business cards, and you're not actually developing relationships with anyone, rather pick one or two that you can commit to on a regular basis and start to develop proper, deeper relationships with people.
Can't agree more.
Yeah.
Can't agree more.
Yeah.
And if somebody had given me that advice, don't do the scattergun approach, just commit to one. Don't try look for perfect, just commit to one. And we all know that some of them are early morning. They're usually a breakfast thing, which I quite like because it's not stealing out of your day. I get it. But just commit to that. And then your first year, it's almost like you've done a little mini business degree. Isn't it? It's true. Like, I've got these people who I've made relationships with who've helped me refine my vision, my brand, my pitch. They're giving me feedback. I'm getting those one-to-ones coffees. They're usually well versed in going networking somewhere else. So guess what? I go networking with them. That first year, you couldn't agree more with getting out there and networking. And then go have your little scattergun approach. Between us, we've tried them all, haven't we? You know,
We have, yeah.
Then that missing piece for you is what really pulled you towards where you are right now.
Yeah,
Because,
that's true.
Because, you know, you're networking here and there, and there's always a little grumble in each of them, isn't there? A little bit, you know, and some of that is about, where's the authenticity? Where's the ethics that match up with my values? You know, I've got a nickname for this grey and beige brigade. I'm sorry, I know I label people in that instance, but some of those people, they're just in your face, like you say, here's my card, I'm going to save your business. You know, one guy even did the scaremongering, and I said, I won't buy from you because you frightened me. But that was his tactic. Frighten me so that I can't live without what he's got to offer. But you do try them all, but you're looking for somewhere where you can be authentically you.
That's right. Where you feel that you belong.
Where you feel that you absolutely belong, and that your vulnerabilities around working for yourself can be heard. You know, and you know, I wrote a blog around the kind of conversations that happen in networking, and actually there is always that gossip, bitchy one where you can see people are, oh, look at her, or look at him, or, you know, and that doesn't fit you and it doesn't fit me.
No, that's right.
At all. And once you hear that's going on in one of the networking groups, you start to dial down your commitment a bit, don't you?
Yeah, because you're thinking, what are they saying about me?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous.
Yeah.
Some really lovely tips there about networking.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've talked about that.
Yeah.
It's important, isn't it, to get it right? Yeah.
I can't agree more, but it starts with you. You've got to be ready to be true. You can't go in there pretending to be anything. You've got to be absolutely, this is what I'm about. This is the values I stand for. Because one, it doesn't help the way that you're manifesting your future vision. If your future vision is built upon, you know, a lie, you know, that you're playing up to being somebody, how's that going to manifest? You're going to manifest more pretense. So you've got to really kind of connect with, people are going to buy from me because of this reason. And when you're networking, that'll only ooze out, and you'll attract people that you want to attract.
Yeah.
Instead of the people that you think, oh, okay, I'm sure I can find a way of working with them.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That actually brings up another tip for me, which is trust your gut instinct. Yeah. And I think when you're running your own business, you almost need to tap into that, don't you? I've learned so many mistakes by not listening to what was going on in here.
How many times have you said that to me? I knew that was wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I should have listened. I said, didn't I? My stomach was telling me, my guts were telling me, my intuition was telling me this was all wrong. And then it's always proven right, isn't it?
Always, always, always.
We really, you and I, understand what that intuition is. And we work with it, don't we? If we ignore it, then, you know, it comes down on us like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
It really does.
It really does. Okay, let's move on to you now.
Okay.
Ask you some questions about you and your fabulous business.
Okay.
So, as we've established 7 years ago, 7.5, that 6 months is important, isn't it, at the beginning? 7.5 years ago, Pebble People came on the scene.
Yeah.
So explain to me a little bit about your business. What is it that you do?
So there's a hint in the title. It's got the word people. So we're a business that focuses on people, and predominantly the people who are in your business. So whether you're a leader or a manager within a business, we will work with the people element of your business. So that can be working with an individual, with a team. So for example, you might be a newly formed project team or an established team that just want to learn how to get more out of that. And as a leader, we'll work with you around your strategy around those people. So how am I thinking about recruiting them? What culture do I want to grow? What's my vision for the people in my business? And what kind of leaders do I want? What kind of leader do I want to be as well? Yeah. So we focus on all the people element of businesses. Yeah.
And so what led you down that road? Why do you do what you do?
Yeah. My history is that I've spent, it's coming on for 23 years doing this kind of a role. And as we've talked about, there comes a time 7 years ago where it just felt right for me to leave corporate life and take all of that good oozy knowledge and bring it to people who run small, medium businesses, who maybe don't have the budget for a training, learning and development, people-focused department in their business. When I was a bit younger, about 20 years ago, I just suddenly had one of those lovely moments of clarity where I went, if we want the world to be a better place, we need to somehow encourage more love and kindness in this environment. It was a real moment of clarity. I can tell you exactly where I was. You know, it's one of those, well, we just need to learn how to love one another for who we are. And then that triggers off kindness. Right, so that's what we need to do. And I just had this vision of, at the time you might have called it like a centre for doing this. Some people call it a retreat now. I didn't call it a retreat back then, but I just had this vision that I could help people. But at the time I knew that I only had this amount of skill. So I set with my intentions, you know, this manifesting was, the vision is that I learn all about what makes people tick, and I use that to try and start encouraging this love and kindness in the world. Sounds very Miss World, doesn't it? You know, I believe in world peace, but I really did. And so that's what I set out to do. And I was successful in corporate land and I loved what I did. And yet you're still constrained by the values and the vision of the business that you work for. And I took the courage. I was brave as you are. And I took the courage and stepped out into it. And so part of the way that the business is named is all around this, the impact we can have on others that will create that ideology of love and kindness in the world. I do what I do because I believe in the best of people, and I like to see them reach their potential. I like to see them suddenly kind of get to a point where they go, oh, I get this now. And they just switch something and it just makes a difference to their business. Suddenly their business is a better place to be. I like to see the people that I work with grow. I like to see them go on, move on, become even more successful than they already are. But deep down inside, the reason that I do what I do is because I really believe that we can make this world feel better. There's too much fighting as in wars. Why should we fight against each other in business? Collaboration, working together. I'm just so passionate about that people can really make a difference out there.
I know that you are because I've actually seen it in action. So yeah, well done.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I suppose that moves me on to the next question really, which from a business perspective, what are you most proud of?
Yeah, what am I most proud of? Well, I've got to start with the fact that I work with my husband. So I'm a co-director at Pebble People, and I work with my husband Jamie. And a lot of people go, oh, how could you work with your husband on a daily basis? But it works, and I'm really proud of the fact that we are able to work together. I'm also really proud of the fact that when we did start up and when we did first meet, we were right in the middle of that second recession.
Yeah.
It was killing us. you know, where you were trying to get in there and ask people, have you got a budget for this? No. And people were going out of business. It was, you know, but somehow, I never realised it, you know, but I started up my business at the end of the first recession. We then, you know, Jamie came on board. We went through the second recession and we're still here. We survived.
Yeah, well
you
done.
know. So I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the clients that I've worked with who have taken that lovely moment and who are now running their businesses in a much more engaging, relationship-focused way. Yeah, so I'm really proud of that. Yeah, and I'm just proud of the visioning that we've got. You know, that somehow I still hold on to the ideology of that in every way we can create something in the world that means that it's a better place. Yeah.
Fabulous. What an impact to have. That's, yeah, it is something to be really proud of.
Yeah. And no, I'm not going to write a book on how to work with your husband. A lot of people have asked me that. Yeah, they want hints and tips. I'm not quite sure I can give the game away.
What was the one key activity that you felt helped you on the road to success?
It's a good question, isn't it? And I think we've already kind of touched on one of them, which is get networking.
Yeah.
So that was one key activity that once we got it in place and got it right, we flew. But even before that, and again, I've mentioned this, I'm a big believer in manifesting. I'm a believer in that if you can vision where you want to go, the world and the universe will somehow contrive to get you there.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Completely.
Right?
Yeah.
So being really clear on that vision, not necessarily the steps to get there, but what is it that you're wanting to do? For me, really, it was one of the things that really got me hooked in. And the main reason behind that is I can talk passionately about that. And once you can talk passionately about what your business is about, you're halfway there, aren't you?
Yeah.
When you're not quite sure what it is that you're setting out to deliver, you'll sound like you're not quite sure. But from the word off, I absolutely knew. From the moment I got the name of the company, I was like, that's it. And again, it was one of those lovely moments where your intuition goes, yeah, tick, go for it. So one of the biggest things that got us to where we are is that we're very clear on the vision and what we stand for.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. You know that feeling.
I know that feeling. I completely know that feeling. So for me, I know, talking about listening to gut instincts and intuition and listening to your body and all that sort of thing, when I have a feeling that I know that something is really right, I get goosebumps all the way up my back. And as soon as I get that feeling, I know that I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
It's dialing into what your body's telling
That's
you, isn't
your
it?
indicator, isn't
Yeah,
it? Really is.
And everybody has that, don't they? But it's just knowing what it is.
Absolutely. It's just what I was going to say is one of the things that I love about what I do is helping people get clear on that vision, help them find the language, help them connect to it, help them uncover their values around that. I know that sometimes, you know, the language of, you know, manifesting and a law of attraction, but if your heart's open to that, I'm really open to a good conversation around how are you manifesting and what results have you got through that manifesting, what you've done. And I love working with leaders on that. Yeah.
I think it's becoming more and more a conversation that people have now, whereas perhaps even 5 years ago, it all felt a bit woo-woo, didn't it, that subject area. But it's definitely opening up. People are becoming much more receptive to that type of conversation, aren't they?
And when I had that moment of clarity, you know, 20 odd years ago, I was already into that language then. You know, one of my best friends really opened that part of my belief system, which is just notice your thoughts become actions and your actions become the results you seek. And I did just notice it. And people who do know me know that I can be really pragmatic. And yet I've got this side of me that sometimes can feel like it's not quite tangible. However, my pragmatic side loves to test that stuff. So actually, okay, am I just to believe in it because I like the person, or is there something in it? And I'll test it. And so actually I've got 20 plus years of just testing this stuff out now, and it doesn't let me down.
So if you had one top tip for someone, what would that top tip be?
Stay focused on your thoughts, because your thoughts do become actions. And if you need to have a sounding board to sound out what you're thinking, do it. Do it. Because your thoughts will become action. Your thoughts will realise themselves. And so actually one tip for me is being very clear on the vision. Where are you going? What is it that you're aiming to do? And what impact does that have on the people around you, the world around you? Why would you put that into the world? So one tip for me is just being very clear on your thoughts. What am I thinking and what am I feeling right now? And how is that helping me towards that vision?
So, do you want to share with us what your favourite part of the job is?
Well, I love what I do, but I really enjoy to create. So I love the creative process of bringing out thoughts and trying to make them into this vision, helping people do that.
You.
Yeah,
this is creative.
I love it. I really like to create. But I also then like to see what I've created become a reality. So for me, what I love about my job is that it allows me to create. So create a solution, yeah, but also I'm always on the edge of what's new in my industry and how do I take that and bring it into what we do. So the research for me is creation. The coming up with a solution is creation, and then there's the general colour of creation. So
is that purple by any chance?
It could be. Yeah, it could well be, and often is. But yeah, just that whole. How do you then make that creation into something colourful? How do you help that person bring their thoughts and feelings so that they can articulate it through a culture and a vision and a way that they work? So for me, the one thing that I just love about my job is when I get a chance to create. Yeah.
So what are you creating next?
So at the moment, we're really down. We're nearly at the point of signing. This first vision from 20 years ago, the Centre for Human Development is almost there. So our vision at the moment, where we're going to next, is creating we're calling it, in the work in progress is Pebble Heights. It's a place where we can actually bring together all of these like-minded people and continue to create, a place that is around human development, okay? So it's not necessarily aligned with just business. It's aligned with your mind, your body and your soul. So that could be leadership development, that could be looking after your well-being, that could be a place where you just want to bring people together and open up their minds to a new way of thinking. But that's what's next, and hopefully that's something that we'll attain within the next 12 months. We're so close to finding the place to do that.
That sounds really exciting.
It's really exciting. So it's an eco building. It's not spoiling the footprint of the land. It's really aligned to our values. It's around a purpose-built centre that will that has a very low carbon footprint. Really aligns itself to our values around the way that we are, trying to look after this world with love and kindness. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to thank you so much for coming in and sharing your time with us. And until next time we're networking.
Yes.
Bumping into each other, sharing a glass of lemonade at 9 o'clock in the morning in the middle of Leeds.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us, the Company of Leaders. And thank you to our guest. We'll be running this programme on a regular basis, where we'll be inviting women leaders in to come and share their knowledge and fabulous expertise. So until next time, I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.